Hello, friends. Welcome back to Panel Chewing Pick of the Week. We are back again to talk about our stack of books, and we end the show with our favorite book. And we are also reading, or finishing, I should say, the Chris Claremont run on X-Men, which is available on Hoopla and Libby. We hope you decided to read along with us. And we will be announcing our next read in just a few minutes. But I'm here again with Jared. Jared, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Another great week of comics reading.
Yeah, I think I'll have a trombone at least once. So we'll see. At least once, but to start off the show, we always try to have a topic or just something to chat about before we get into our picks. And Jared had an idea for this week. Then I'll let you take it away, Jared.
Oh yes. So Marvel put a little section in a comic I was reading this week about remembering Jim Shooter. I guess he passed away very recently, and Jim Shooter was the editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics from 1978 to 1987. So a pretty significant time frame in the history of comics in general. He was the editor-in-chief who ushered in the X-Men run that we're currently finishing up with the Dark Phoenix Saga. And he also allowed stuff to happen, for instance, like Frank Miller's Daredevil run. And he also is credited with beginning the big event type deal with Secret Wars. That was like the big event, separate issues rather than just having crossovers within the regular books. Secret Wars was something that he created, and of course, we all know what that led to. That led to endless events happening over the next 40 years or whatever. But so love him or hate him, Jim Shooter came up with the concept, and they were pretty cool when they were first happening, and admittedly they were a huge success for both Marvel and DC of the times, and so responsible for ushering a lot of interesting stuff. The after his Marvel career, he went on to start Valiant Comics, which became a big success when they first started out. They were quite a alternate to the Marvel and DC stuff that was going on, and I really enjoyed the Valiant universe. I got in on it when it first started, and I really loved those comics when they first came out. After he left Valiant, that line kind of petered out, but then he went on to create another company that had a book called Warriors of Plasm. I think it's Defiant Comics, and he didn't quite get the acclaim that he got for Valiant after that, and that company didn't last too long. But still, it was some pretty cool stuff, and I think he went on to head some video game stuff after that and what have you. But he was definitely had a big impact on the comic book industry as a whole.
I didn't know he created Valiant.
Yeah. Yep. He was the guy who ushered all that in and discovered a lot of good talent that came out of that time, including David Lapham and a lot of Joe Quesada was started at Valiant, and so a lot of other talent that came out of that that pool.
Quite the resume.
Yeah.
Nice. So not to leave everyone hanging, because I felt like I brought up the next reading project we'll have on Libby and Hoopla, which will be Frank Miller's Daredevil. It is volume 1 on Libby and Hoopla, and it covers spectacular 2 issues of Spectacular Spider-Man, and then it picks up on Daredevil 158. So we're going to skip the Spectacular Spider-Man issues and go straight into Daredevil. So next week we'll be discussing issues 158 and 159. That can, like I said, that can be found for free on Libby or Hoopla, as long as you have a library card. Take advantage, read along with us, and follow along. We invite you to join us on the read. I've never read Frank Miller's Daredevil, so I'm excited to finally get into it.
Yeah, me too. I have not. That's one of the little bit of gaps in my comic book reading history.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's always one of the ones that you feel like I should have read. I feel like I should have read, and I just haven't for whatever reason. But we'll remedy that here very soon, next week. Yeah. So getting into our picks of the week. First one for me is Absolute Superman 12. This one took a little bit of a break from the action, kind of a more of a introspective look. A lot of information about Superman's cape, the AI that runs it. I thought it was I think it's a nice modern touch to have an AI cape, especially someone who's an alien from another planet and keeps him company, gives him guidance, and he's not so alone. It gives a lot of information about that. I thought it looks cool. I think it's a nice. I mean, with AI as prevalent as it is in our lives, I thought it was a nice touch. It's a good idea. I love the artwork. I think Jason Aaron's doing a good job with writing the series, but I will say that when he writes dialogue of people who aren't Superman, sometimes it could be a little bit clunky and goofy. So, but otherwise, I think they're both doing, or whoever's involved, all the people involved are doing a good job, and it's still my favorite Absolute book. One of the few I'm still reading, actually.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that's in the mail for me, so I'll be getting that soon. And speaking of comic book mail, my next my first issue this week is Batman Year 2 number 1, which is actually a special edition for Batman Day that DC put out this year, and it's a reprint of Batman number 5. No, of not Batman, Detective Comics number 575 from back in 1987, and it's and it was a special edition that was offered by my comic book subscription service for free, just for being a customer, and so I appreciated that. What I didn't know was he was going to get a delightful story out of it, and it was written by Mike Barr and with excellent artwork by Alan Davis, who is one of those really good artists that came out of the 80s, and he went on to draw a bunch of X-Men issues after this, and then went on to draw Excalibur for Marvel as well. And but I really love Alan Davis's artwork, and the story from 1986 was really interesting. It really gave you insight into how Batman was pictured back then, and he hasn't really changed that much over the years since then. So I found that fascinating, and his butler's changed a lot since then. Alfred's changed a lot, but
Yeah.
but not Batman himself. And so that was pretty cool. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the old school paneling and how they did panels and stuff like that back then. And the artwork was just exquisite. You can tell. I think John Byrne was a big influence on Alan Davis. He really comes from that school of drawing, and it was really nice. So I enjoyed this more than I thought I was gonna. And if you haven't seen that, check it out. It's probably a old run that we might be worth checking out someday.
Yeah, definitely. I read Year 1 many years ago, and I remember liking it quite a bit.
Yeah, and I don't know what the connection is. I don't know why they labeled it year two. Um, because you don't. It's the first issue in a story that's going to keep going on and on and on. So, but I I'm just guessing this. There might be something. It might be related to something else, but yeah, whatever. It was a free comic, so it was really good.
Nice. Can't beat that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Next one for me is Exquisite Corpses number 5. So this issue is more of the same. It's about half of the battlefield and half of the political string pullers behind the scenes that are orchestrating this battle. And you know, this is I've been hanging on to this one. I thought the idea, although it wasn't original, it's 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 taken from a lot of other movies and books. I thought it was okay, but I'm just not digging it. I think when we look at our stack every week and the price tag, we have to make cuts. And when you read so many great books, it's hard to keep hanging on to a book that just isn't scratching that itch. So I can see why people enjoy it. No shade if you're enjoying it. I don't think it's subjectively bad. It's not for me. So I have to throw in the towel on Exquisite Corpses.
All right. That's funny. Next up, I got Conan, Scourge of the Serpent, number 1. So this is a mini series that's coming out, and from Titan Books, and once again, excellent artwork in a Conan book from Titan. They really seem to have their handle on getting good artists for these books. Um, and this was written by the regular Conan Barbarian scribe Jim Zub. But this one is one of those crossover Conan type things where you get the story simultaneously takes place during Kull the Conqueror's time,
Hmm.
and then it moves ahead to the modern times quote, which is actually 1930s. Um, and I that kind of it always bugs me with the Conan stories. They never really jive with me. I know some people like it when they have the Howard verse basically as a connected thing, but I personally prefer my Conan stories to be, you know, in Conan's time, strictly in the Hyborian Age. So it's well done. It's cool, and if you like the Howard verse crossover stuff, then you'll probably like the story. It has to deal with, of course, dealing with the god, the god, evil god Set,
Hmm.
and his influence over time. But so not 100% my thing, but I'm still gonna get it because I'm a nut when it comes to Conan. So I'll, but not a bad issue, just not. I just wish they wouldn't do that. But anyways,
Yeah.
my next book I got up here is Lazarus Fallen number 4, and as you know, my Lazarus has been one of my favorite books going. I love the artwork. Greg Rucka's writing is great. Michael Lark's artwork is fantastic, and this story is continuing on with the final run of the book here. This was almost my pick of the week. It
Hmm.
was pretty close to being it, and I think I only chose my pick because I was fascinated with a new book. Um, but this was really good. Excellent character building in this issue that I didn't expect, which is always pleasant and always surprising when you have something that you don't expect to happen when you've been reading it for such a long time. And just another great entry into the
Hmm.
Lazarus universe. I am so looking forward to seeing how Rucka ends up wrapping this whole thing up in another I don't know, 16 or 20 issues, whatever, however long it's going to take. But just like if you haven't been on the Lazarus bandwagon, get on and catch up, because I have a feeling that this ending is going to be a banger.
Yeah, I need to finish the original Lazarus. Make it on that. I think they're in trades, right? I mean, I know they're trades, but I wonder if there's a whole collection.
Yeah, this should be. I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're on Hoopla or Libby.
Oh shit! Yeah, I forget. I forget that sometimes. So the next one for me is Life number 6. This is by Distillery. This is the final issue in the Life series. Now, I debated whether or not to talk about the setup for this book because I really like the surprises that you get. Even in the first couple issues, there's a lot of surprises, a lot of neat things I think they do to set the story up. But essentially, it's about a band of thieves who band together for one last hurrah, one last payday. They want to get one last score, and things don't go the way that they expect, obviously. But what they find in the way that, there's two different sides to the story, and you flip the book over and you read it a different way, and then you get different perspectives of the story. So the story gets filled in from the different perspectives. You get one perspective and you feel like, okay, I missed something. And then you read the other perspective and it fills in the blanks. So I think that was really well done. I think there's a couple of things. The ending didn't quite land for me. I felt like it kind of a swing and a miss for the finale. And another thing that I think really hurt this book, and I know that deadlines and all that stuff, I know there's a lot involved in making comic books, and I get that. But when you have months between issues, it's tough to keep up, especially when there's so many characters and when they look so much alike. It's hard to remember what exactly happened. So I plan to reread all 6 issues and get one after another. And I think it'll hit differently when they're read consecutively. So if you haven't read this story, it's a good story. I think there's a couple of things that, a couple of minor complaints, but overall, it was clever. There were some surprises and solid story. Although the ending, like I said, didn't quite scratch that itch for all the setup.
That's too bad. Yeah, haven't got to that one yet, but I do plan on reading that sometime.
Yeah.
Soon. All right, I have next up The Mortal Thor, number 2. And, I read number 1, and I saw some potential, and I was like, all right, I'm going to get to the second one and see how it goes. And then I read this second one, and while the artwork is very good, really fantastic artwork, actually, the story for me just fell a little flat. And I was hoping for something different. I was hoping for something more. You have it's the whole premise with this guy losing his memory and he's living in New York being a construction worker. Or actually, he's kind of unemployed construction worker, but and then being a vigilante on the streets at night. And he's throwing a hammer around. He's kind of acting like Thor, but he's not.
Oh.
He doesn't really remember he's Thor. And I was hoping for something a little different, because that actually has been done before. And I didn't... I was hoping that just something different would come out of it. But to me, the story fell kind of flat. And it was just the typical... don't come around here again after he beats up a bunch of bad guys. And I was just like, geez, come on, give me something more than that. And they introduce a new villain at the end of the book, but he was very lackluster and just copy and paste pastiche of the evil businessman behind the desk. And I was just, come on. So you can hit that button for this one for me. I won't be continuing with The Mortal Thor.
That's a bummer. Okay, so the next one for me is Skin Police 2, number 1. This is the second volume, I guess, or second arc of the Skin Police. The Skin Police is it's set up in a world where the birth rates are way down, and a technology is created to develop clones. These clones are made, and they basically become ticking time bombs. It's an accident, just a side effect of their being created. So they're walking around, normal people. No, you can't really tell the difference until either their head explodes or they go insane and just start killing people randomly. So the initial setup I thought was good in the first part of the first series. It kind of felt like the series faded away, started getting a little discombobulated. There's too many things going on, and it kind of fell off for me. And I'm finding number one of the second series. I was excited to see what they would do with it, but it's becoming more of a like an 80s action movie. It's becoming more like an action adventure instead of focusing more on the clones and using that as a device for the story. I feel like it's gotten away from that. It's focused more on a certain character and how heroic they are, or how shitty they are and how they do the right thing. It's this whole cop thing. So unfortunately, I don't know. I'm not big on the direction it's taken. I like the setup, but unfortunately, it's just not my thing. And I did buy issues 1 and 2, so I'll be reading the second issue anyway because I already bought it. But it's close to being on the block, very close. So that's my fault for going a little crazy there, but it is what it is.
Hey, you got to make those tough decisions,
Yeah.
All right. Next up for me is Detective Comics number 1101. That's a mouthful.
That's a big one.
And yeah, I picked this up because it's the start of a new storyline, and I was like, all right, let's see what Detective Comics, the greatest title in the history of comics, the longest running, whatever you want to call it, and let's see what they do with Batman now in this new storyline. And I actually really liked it. I really liked this new storyline. To me, it felt like it's in conjunction with Batman Year 2. They're getting back to a more classic Batman feel. And I really just enjoyed how the story started out. It felt like classic Batman, and it was he gets involved in it's partly a mystery, so the detective part of it's coming out. It's not just superhero. And he is trying to save people. So you get both aspects, both parts of the Batman that and I really liked how they did it. I thought the artwork was great. I don't know who it is, but Mikhail Janin. So I never heard of him, but it was good. It was very good artwork, and the ending was a really good cliffhanger for the next issue, which is what you want in a monthly. And so there was a little guest spot of one of the other heroes in the DC universe, but it made complete and utter sense. It made like if it was almost like this guy should be in this spot because of the situation, and it just it explained it beautifully why this guest star was in there, and it didn't feel awkward or just jammed in for, like, he wasn't on the cover or anything, so it wasn't like he was jammed in for publicity or something like that. It made sense for the story, and so I appreciated that, and so I'm gonna get the next one and keep going and see how they do with this one.
Well, shit, I'll have to pick that up then.
That's a sound bite for you.
I know, right? It is that time.
Yeah.
It is that time. Our picks of the week. The best of the best, the best of the best, the creme de la crop, the top of the mountain. I don't know what else. Anyway, so we'll get into our picks. Jared, want to kick us off with your best of the week?
All right. So this is another entry from Distillery Comics.
Nice.
And this is Endeavor. Yeah. Number 1. and this is about it's interesting. It's well, first of all, it's written by Stephanie Phillips, by Mark Lanning, and the artwork is fantastic in this book. I really, really enjoyed his artwork in here. There's they have these little. The book is broken up into three chapters. It's one of those long um, uh, distillery comics. It's like a good 48, 50 pages. So you're getting your money's worth out of it as far as the page count goes and the story count. It's broken up into three chapters. Each of the chapters um, begins with this moody, um, dark artwork that shows like the old ship from what's his name? Captain Cook, from the old, the Age of Discovery, exploring the world, and it has this great moody artwork, and then it cuts to the modern day, and all of a sudden the artwork changes a little bit. It's a little
Hmm.
bright and sunnier and stuff like that, and the way it transitioned was just so well done, and I love how the artwork came out like that. And then the second chapter he quotes Moby Dick, and then next one after that there's allusions to Watership Down, and so it's just
Hmm.
all this nice little Easter eggs of old ship type
Oh, gotcha.
literature in there. And the premise is that these all these rich people are getting on this old replicant of Captain Cook's ship and going on a tour, a vacation, or what have you. And of course, that's not going to go right?
No.
So, but the way the chapter three, wow, what an ending! What a sequence of events to set up the rest of this series. It really stunned me. I thought it was so well done. I really like this issue, and I can't wait for the next one to come out. I don't know when that's going to be, but it was really good.
Oh shit. Oh, okay. Add another one to the list. I'll have to check that out. I don't think I didn't notice that one. I'll have to check again.
I think it's pretty new up there in the
Yeah,
website. Yeah. So.
got it. All right. The next one, or next one, my pick of the week is one that Jared has his pick last week, which is Good as Dead. Number one by the Lamphams, by Image Comics. I think these two together are brilliant. They've always been some of my favorite writers and artists, but this is just another reminder of just how good they are at what they do. So in one issue, they establish characters, conflicts, setting, supporting characters. So that they set up the mystery, the people to look out for, and they also create a clock that's ticking in that all this has to be resolved in a certain amount of time. And we'll say why. Just there's all this tension added to that mix, and the all of it's set up in one issue, and it feels very seamless. It doesn't feel like info dumps. It doesn't feel like they're trying to jam a ton of exposition in to explain things. It's all done naturally through the page, through the artwork. It's kind of funny because I missed the lettering of the Lanthams books. It's kind of messy. It looks like just like something I would handwrite, but I don't know if it's a nostalgia thing for me, thinking back to Stray Bullets or what exactly it is, but I just love that lettering. I think it's very I don't know. It's comforting for me to see the lettering. It's not perfect. It doesn't look like a computer did it, like some Marvel books. It looks like a person wrote the like a person wrote the text. So I don't know. It's just great. It's just a good book. It's just a good book. A lot of things that they do in one issue, and this is why we've said several times on the podcast that the first issue has to have a hook. It has to have some kind of setup, and people should read books like this and see how you do a first issue, no matter what the genre is, no matter what the topic is. This is a way to set up your story, your world, and to hook the reader. This is a perfect first issue. So needless to say, I'm hooked on this one. And the Lamphams are complete badasses. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was hoping you would like it as much
Oh,
as I did.
I loved it because it's great.
It was so good.
Really good. Did not disappoint at all.
It made me realize how much I missed Stray Bullets because like it's been a long time since he did that,
Oh, man. I love Stray Bullets.
and this is just what we needed. Yeah.
Yeah. Great stuff. All right. The X-Men, the Claremont X-Men run comes to an end. Like we mentioned earlier, we will be transitioning over to Frank Miller's Daredevil run. It is volume 1, Libby or Hoopla. We invite you to read along with us. Next week, we will be talking Daredevil issues 158, 159. And this is the Daredevil by Frank Miller and Klaus Janson. But today, we're going to finish off Uncanny X-Men 136, 137, the conclusion of the Dark Phoenix Saga.
Indeed. Wow. Those covers, man,
Well, classics.
iconic covers. The and that opening page on number 136, I think that was just like wow, what a memory of that was.
Yeah.
Because it's like I've seen these before, and those are the ones that just popped out in my memory, and just like John Byrne was the baddest at the time. He was the best.
Yeah. Really good.
Yeah. So there was let's see here. 136 was when the Phoenix she's kind of going nuts, and she's kind of
Yeah.
showing her power, and then there was actually a lot of explanatory stuff
Yeah.
going on in this issue, and there was a really bad Jimmy Carter impression.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then it was interesting because then Professor X shows his power
Hmm.
finally.
Yeah. Yeah. He flexes a little bit this issue.
Yeah,
You know, the confrontation with the X-Men and Dark Phoenix, all of that it has a very epic feel to it.
yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, there was a lot of a lot of going back and forth, a lot of explanation, and a lot
Mhm.
of just a lot of the culmination of what we've been reading all along. This was the end. This is the beginning of the end. Until it gets to number 136. It's like all of a sudden you think it's wrapped up, and then blink, you're in the next issue with
Yeah.
you know the Shire kind of interfering, butting their noses in, thinking it's
I
for the
mean,
good of the universe, and you get it.
yeah. Can you blame him?
You can't blame them, really. Yeah, she destroyed millions of lives, millions,
Yeah.
billion, right? Yeah. Uh, yeah. So then we get into one, and then 137 was a double-sized issue, I think. And we get into that, and all of a sudden there's like all this, a bunch of pages of self-reflection with all the different X-Men. You had, like each character got his own page, going, basically, where has my life led me?
Yeah.
and, and I was like, okay. And then, finally we get this duel that begins. That's for the fate of the Phoenix. You get this duel, and a lot of long battles. It was just a lot of back and forth with the long battles between the X-Men and the Starjammers, not Starjammers. Was it the Guardians, or the,
Uh,
I forget what they call themselves.
yeah.
the Praetorian Guard of the
Yeah.
Shire Empire or what have you. Um, and it was all about. It all came down to this, I guess, this like free will type of argument.
Yeah.
This, in the capacity for good and evil in everybody, and so it all basically boiled down to that. And so it was a pretty good ending for this whole big saga thing, I guess.
It kind of felt, if now rereading it, it felt short. Like I was surprised that it wasn't more. There were more issues because I know the thread started earlier, many issues ago, but it does build. We do have breadcrumbs along the way, but I'm kind of surprised that it's only what few issues long. So I guess that's good, and I guess the good thing is that it's it's to the point, it's packed, and it's over before it gets you get too tired of it. So I guess that's the
Right.
you know
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Because yeah, the issues where she actually is the Dark Phoenix are only a few.
yeah
We've gotten a lot of build up where she does something a little questionable, or she shows some
yeah
power that people were like, oh wow, where'd that come from?
yeah
Um, but then but the actual her being that actual powerful being that can destroy a star um, was only right, only a few issues. Yeah.
yeah. I was doing some looking into this the Dark Phoenix saga, and I did find that at the time the editors wanted Jean to be punished for destroying the planet, and they were pushing Claremont and Byrne to punish her for what she had done, but they chose to have her sacrifice herself instead. And it wasn't explicitly said, but the way reading between the lines, it sounded like they rebelled and did what they wanted to do and ignored editorial advice. Which, on one hand, I think that would it have been better had she been punished for it, or is her sacrificing herself the more satisfying conclusion? Because I'm guessing they knew that they would bring her back at some point. She would redeem herself in other ways, or they didn't want it to be the end of the character. So if she was punished and she was, kind of, I guess you could say convicted, I think it would have tarnished her character over the years, and she may not have been able to come back, at least not the same way she had.
That's interesting that they would go against editorial control of that nature. How very X-Men like of them.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, yeah, no, I think the sacrifice works way better. It works better as a means to have for the reader to have sympathy for this character that they've been following for a very long time. Um, I think to have her punished would fall a little flat. I think I
yeah.
don't know if that would work as well, unless you'd have to have. I mean, what's the? Yeah, you get into what's the punishment. You get like if did they punish her by killing her? I mean that. I don't know. I'm not sure how that would sit. Um, I mean, self-sacrifice is the essence of being a superhero, really.
Yeah.
When you boil it down, what superhero means to people, what a hero means, really. Um, self-sacrifice is you're sacrificing something when you are being heroic in a deadly situation. Whether or not that sacrifice leads to your own death or not is beside the point. But she, and so that's what being a hero means, I think,
Mhm.
in a lot of cases. So if you just punish her, then she's not necessarily being that hero. In the end, she doesn't have the free will to be that hero, and because we've been introduced to her now, she's been transformed into a villain. She's been transformed into a universe-threatening villain,
Yeah.
and so a sacrifice is really the only way to bring that back, to balance that good and evil, to show that people have the capacity for both. And I think they did the best job they could there.
She did destroy a planet.
Yeah, no,
It's
really
a
bad.
solar system, right?
Really bad, yeah.
It's wild. Yeah. That's a bold
Yeah.
move. I mean, it's a bold choice. That's some Death Star shit, right? I mean,
It is, yeah.
yeah.
That's that's yeah, that's an all around, yeah, blowing up the planet there.
Yeah.
Um, you know, does that mean that Darth Vader didn't have the chance to self-sacrifice when he destroyed the Emperor? You know,
It's true.
that's you know, those are the things. Oh, did I just give away the movie? Sorry.
You spoiled a 40-year-old movie.
Yeah, uh, but yeah, that's the same. That's a very similar situation. It's a good analogy, and that's what we. That's why we read these things, really.
Mm. Yeah. I think her sacrificing herself, honoring the character in a way too of kind of she has her moment to redeem herself in a way, or to at least, try and make things right in a way. So it does mirror the Darth Vader thing. I didn't think of that, but I wonder if there was any influence there when they wrote, because this came after, because Star Wars is after this, right?
Well,
This is what, 79, right?
Yeah, this is a little bit after Star Wars, but
Oh,
not much
interesting.
though. You don't know when this stuff was percolating in people's heads, but
It's true. Yeah, I think it was fun to reread the Uncanny X-Men, the Claremont run. It was lots of great artwork. He was very lucky to have some very, very talented artists.
yeah, and this is mostly this is the Claremont Byrne run mostly.
Yeah.
I know if John Byrne stayed on for a few more issues, but I think eventually he passes the torch
Yeah, I
pretty
forget the
quickly.
next art. I
After
forget the
these,
next artist. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I don't know who it is next. I forget, but but you know, there's a lot of other good X-Men runs. Maybe we'll get into them someday. But this is we accomplished something here.
Is it Terry Austin?
No, he's the inker.
Oh, Paul Smith.
Paul Smith was one.
Oh, he was his artwork in the early 1980s, including on issues like Uncanny X-Men 173, was a significant artistic contribution to the post-Dark Phoenix era.
I think John Romita Jr. maybe might be another one
Yeah.
that was on the book for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I do feel accomplished, though, we're getting through that. It's a classic run.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. It's good shit. Good stuff. Well, cool. Well, guess that wraps it up for this week. And in the meantime, until next time, Jared, where can people find you?
You can find me on the Fantasy Thinker YouTube channel. You can find me on Speculative Speculation Podcast and the Oscar Project.
Yes. Yeah, we are plugging along, and we are in the 1980s on the Oscars Project as of next episode. Lots of movies right in the 80s from 1960. So that's feel accomplished in that too. So yeah, find us on pagechewing.com. You can also send us a message directly with the link down below, or of course send us an email or on the forum and come and say hello. Don't be shy. So until next time, we hope you find your pick of the week.
Bye-bye.